Well, going up all this out, you guys. So in today's video, we have Andre Stevens following up with the Donaldson case. Today, he talks about Kathy going in with her lawyer and addresses Mr. Vegas. All right, on to the video.
Good night, Jamaica. Good night to the world. Good night, everyone. Are you ready for class? Who is ready for class? If you're ready for class, say, yes, teacher, I am ready. Tonight's lecture is called What a Web We Weave. What's the name of the lecture? What a web we weave. What a web. We have some spiders. We have some scorpions. Hear what the lecture. Stop calling me, please, and thank you. What a web we weave. What a web we weave. What's the name of the lecture, students? What a web we weave. What a web we weave. Let me tie this properly because I don't like how my turban feel per my head. What a web we weave. What a web Jamaica has woven. What a web have we woven, Jamaica. What a web have we woven. And tonight I'm going to press hard at some of them. Who needs to be pressed? What a web we weave. Their globe, their world. What a web Donna-Lee Donaldson weaved when she disobeyed her mother that night. What a web Donna-Lee we wove when she disobeyed her mother that night and went to Noel's house. What a web was woven on Monday night, the 11th. On the 12th, what a web was woven when there was a disagreement with both Donna-Lee and Noel. What a web was further woven on that day. What a web was woven the Tuesday morning. What a web was woven on the night, in the evening between 4 and 8 p.m. What a web was woven, Jamaica. When the dispute started and Donna-Lee became unconscious. Between the bedroom, the kitchen, and the living room. What a web was woven. What a web was woven. And then the web continued to weave. when apparently baby mother was called. Apparently when baby mother visited a web. Listen, the web, you guys see when a web get naughty? What a web. What a web. It has become a web. A web. And them just a weave and a wove. Weave and a wove. Weave and a wove. Every time you look, rather than they simplify the situation and talk the truth, they made it messier and nastier. What a web. And Anansi and the spider weave the web. Weave the web to the point that other people are getting involved in the web. Truckman get involved in the web. Indian get involved in the web. Car wash, upholstery place, coach get involved in the web. Fix bailing and get involved in the web. The constabulary force gets so involved in the mucky affairs of the web. L.A. Lewis get involved in the web. Andre Stevens involved in the web. Dennis Brooks involved with the web. Artists visiting Noel in the lockup involved in the web. Other police involved in the web. Detectives transferred from the case involved in the web. Allegations are police are killed because they knew too much of the case. Involved in the web. Do you see what kind of Anansi business this has become? A big web. A big nasty web. And then the Gleaner has reported Jamaica. This is a web of lies and deception. A web of lies, deception and deceit. The media reported, the Gleaner reported, that a famous entertainer and Jamaica, a former beauty queen, visited Noel. But I'm going to ask the Jamaica Constabulary Force one question. I'm going to ask the Jamaica Constabulary Force one question. Why are you afraid to name the visitor? Why are you afraid to talk who the person is? Why are you afraid to say who visited Noel? Why are you protecting that visitor? Does that visitor have immunity? Does that visitor have immunity, Jamaica? Why is that visitor being protected and shoved and hidden under the ambits of the constabulary force? Why is the constabulary force protecting the name of that visitor? Dear Constabulary Force, dear Jamaica Constabulary Force, can you, Dennis Brooks, Senior Strategist of Communication, tell Jamaica, Dennis Brooks, Fix Bailey, and Commissioner of Police, you say that we speak too much fake news. Can you say that we, social media, speak too much fake news? Can you tell Jamaica, Mr. Brooks, seeing that social media is, I don't want to put anyone's name into disrepute. I don't believe anybody's name I don't believe anybody's name should be carried on my platform. So I am calling you out. I'm using my voice as an advocacy tool and network to call you out, Jamaica Constabulary Force. Can you tell Jamaica who that artist was? The public deserves to know who the artist was, Mr. Brooks. You know why, Mr. Brooks? Mr. Brooks, on several occasions, members in lockups, Mr. Brooks, have given instructions. Members in lockups have given instructions to their cronies and dons and to their foot soldiers as to out people's lives. Do you recall that it was from the prison in the jail cell in St. James? A call was made. A call was made, Mr. Brooks, and the baby mother and her boyfriend were shot, killed, dead. Shot, killed, and dead. So we need to know, what was the purpose of the visit? What was the purpose of a visit? Of the visit? What was the purpose of the visit? Noel, are you that stronger, badder, bigger than the Jamaica Constabulary Force that you can determine who visits you? Are you bigger than the Constabulary Force that you can just get up, Noel, and tell who come and visit you, and the Constabulary Force protects the identity of your visitors? Does the Constabulary Force know how that look on them? Yes, Latian Rowe, it does matter who visits him. Let me tell you why Latian Rowe, it matters who visits him. The visitation can determine the level of influence that that person has on society. The visitation can tell you, Miss Rowe, the impact and the instructions that were given. So I don't know if you don't remember Dennis Brooks. The very essence of you mentioning that a JCF member was transferred is not enough. The public demands. The public demands, Mr. Brooks. The public demands and deserve to know who was the visitor. What's the purpose of the visitation? What mitigations will be put in place so to see to it that those visitations don't reoccur? To give back public confidence that Noel will be served and treated like any other prisoner in lockup. So Dennis Brooks, Noel wins once more. Noel wins once more. Noel shows that the Jamaica Constabulary Force are filled with paper soldiers. Noel shows how powerful and strong and strategic and sturdy, how firm, how powerful he is over the Constabulary Force. He proves to you. He proves to you, Jamaica. He proves to you. He has proven he's bigger and badder than all of you. And I want to ask once more. Can the constabulary force say yea or nay if Noel has a phone? Can the constabulary force say yea or nay if Noel has a phone in the lockup? So I don't know if the students on my platform tonight don't understand the serious implications for a visitor visiting. Listen, me say something to you. Don't you understand that when I'm on my live, I should not get any calls? So I am saying to Jamaica, if a man can have a visitor, Jamaica, who, whilst he's in lockup. Alright then, let me tell you how serious this is. He is being recorded. He did not record this in the station diary that this visitor is coming. You heard what I said? There was no records of this visitor coming. There is no records of this visitor coming. No records. No records. No records. And if there's no records of this visit, it means it never happened. It means it can be denied. It means that people can make Twitter. It means the people can make Twitter utterances and deny because it's off the record. Off the record. And if it means that it's off the record, Jamaica, off the record, it simply means, Jamaica, anything can go down. Noel, for the love of God, I am on my live and I cannot take a call now. I don't know if Jamaica don't see the serious implications of a man visiting That's the web we weave. Hello. Hello. Taking no more calls. But then Jamaica, world, because my students say they don't like when I say Jamaica. Jamaica is easy to say, you know, because remember the DAS or motto says, out of many, one people. So if I say Jamaica, just work with it. If you don't like it, But I'm saying to you, the visit alone. Let me press them. Noel, did you ask your syndicate of underworld dogs to clip the wings of Andre Stevens. Noel, what was the purpose of that visit? Was it to give the instruction that Andre Stevens at any cost be clipped? Noel, can you tell Jamaica that if that's the reason why that visitation was made? Noel, are you working with your underhanded tactics? Noel, I'm not somebody that is going to be easily be moved. Noel! Is it that you are trying to clip the wings of those who are pressing this investigation too much? Just as how they do it in Montego Bay, that them call from jail cells and say, out the one day. Is it, Noel, that you're trying to set up your underhanded tactics with your other artists to clip the wings of Andre? Who are you trying to get rid of? Is it the truck man, Mr. Maitland? Is it the Indian? Is it the man that spoke to Miss Sophia about the amount of blood he washed out of the coach? Who, Mr. Maitland, that you wanted to clip? Who, Mr. Maitland, you're trying to clip? Who? Who? Who are you trying to clip, Sir Maitland? And don't you realize that is only a little aspect of the fraternity of entertainers who have come out to speak? For instance, Bounty Killer, I-Octane, Chris Martin. Not much of them. So there is a syndicate of underworld people. Oh, and Shensi as well. So there's a syndicate of them, and you guys wonder why I don't support many of them. But there is a syndicate of them, Jamaica, who is working hard to keep and to cover the traces of the first Noel. But I'm going to say, and Jashi as well spoke about it, but I'm going to say to you, their first Noel, you are going down. And the web that you weave, you're the only man that I see weave so much people in one nasty, filthy web. You're the only one I see in the Constabulary Force, because although we don't hear about the 5 or 4 police officers who came on the scenes. We don't hear about those 4 or 5 police officers. We don't know about, we were told that they met in an accident. We don't hear nothing more about them. Kathy, how are you? How much hours today were you probed, Kathy? How many hours were you probed today? How many hours? Kathy, you were asked over 250 questions today. How did that feel? How did that feel today, Kathy, that today you were asked over 250 questions? Wow.
She was asked so many questions. Over 250. It was in relation to her own whereabouts on specific dates. She was asked about the whereabouts of others. She was basically required to, as I regarded, to fill in the blanks.
Let me hear that again.
She was asked so many questions.
Don't you understand that I am doing my class and lecture now? Why are you calling?
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 8:30. Okay.
To her own whereabouts on specific dates. She was asked about the whereabouts of others. She was basically required to, as I regarded, to fill in the blanks.
Fill in the blanks. Interesting. Oswald Senior Smith, greetings, counsel. How are you? Fill in the blanks. Interesting. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks. When I listen and analyze Mr. Senior Smith speaking, 250 questions, you know. If you're not consistent with those questions, you could put yourself in serious trouble. Fill in the blanks. You're on my live and you heard I said I'm not taking any calls now. You're listening to my live and you come on the live to disturb me at this time. Do you think that is fair? Let me put this in airplane mode. I know I'm not putting in airplane mode. People feel have respect. People feel listen to, must have discipline. They hear when people say, listen. 250 questions, Kathy. 250 questions. 250 questions. 250 questions. Were you consistent? Because how I hear Oswald, I'm going to hear this again. Him sound worried.
She was asked so many questions. Over 250. It was in relation to her own whereabouts on specific dates. She was asked about the whereabouts of others. She was basically required to, as I regarded, to fill in the blanks.
So we're going to fill in the blanks. There, Kathy, where were you between the hours of 4 to 8 p.m. on the day of July 12? Where were you, Kathy? Where were you? Dear Kathy, how was it possible for Noel to be able to have your vehicle? How was it possible for Noel to have your vehicle on the day in question? There, Kathy, did you communicate with Noel anytime during the course of the 12? What was the level of communication? What did you and Noel speak about, Miss Smith? I am just in my capacity right now as an interrogator for Indicom. Mr. Hugh Faulkner, how are you, sir? I am doing the work that was not able to be completed by Indicom today, Mr. Faulkner. So, Mr. Faulkner, I want to know, Miss Smith, I want to know, can you tell me right now, where were you between the hours of 4 and 8 p.m.? Fill in the blanks, Kathy. Cathy is the baby mother and Donna-Lee is? Fill in the blanks, Cathy-Ann Smith. Cathy is the baby mother and Donna-Lee is? Fill in the blanks, Cathy, on the day of July 12. Where were you, Cathy? Fill in the blanks, Cathy. Where was Noel on the day of the 12th? Do you know his exact location? Do you know, Miss Smith? Fill in the blanks. Did you enter the apartment, Miss Smith? Did you enter the apartment? Were you called to the apartment, Miss Smith? Fill in the blanks. Who called you to the apartment, Miss Smith? Was it Noel? Was it the security? Did you have another informant who called you to the apartment? Fill in the blanks. Fill in the blanks, Miss Smith. Why were you on sabbatical for 2 days of that week? What was the purpose of the sabbatical that you took, Miss Smith? Why did you take 2 consecutive sabbaticals? What was the purpose of the break from work? Fill in the blanks. How coincidental? How circumstantial, Miss Smith, that when your matey, Miss Smith, was missing, you were on 2 days off. How circumstantial is that? How coincidental is that, Miss Smith? Can you fill in those blanks for us? Was it that you were having period pains, Miss Smith? Miss Smith, were you having period pains? Were you having the time of the month why you took off 2 days off, 2 consecutive days off from work? But based on the cycle of the woman, the embryonic cycle of the woman, the 12th and the 13th, the 14th, you wouldn't be due your period then. Your period wouldn't come during the 12th, the 13th, the 14th. Or is it a case that you have an abnormal period cycle? Can you say, Miss Smith? Was the 2 days off? Was your baby sick? Was your 10-month-old baby girl sick? That's why you took the 2 days off? What was the reason why you took the 2 days off, Miss Smith? What business did you have to take care of, Miss Smith? The business that you had to take care of. Please, I want nobody to call me. I'm getting deep. I'm getting deep. I am getting deep. Were you traumatized, Miss Smith? What caused you? Paranoia caused you? Did you have post-traumatic stress disorder? PSTP? What caused you, Miss Smith, to take those 2 days off? Miss Smith, were you taken aback by what happened in the apartment? These people will not stop calling. But that is something we'll follow up on again very soon, my students. But Miss Smith, I want to go and move from you a minute. And then I want to turn to something that I saw in the news today. I saw in the news today that the constabulary force is saying that they want to amend the Cybercrime Act. Let me read it. I don't want to tell any lie on anybody. Let me read it. I'm going to say this to you. Here is the heading. You people won't stop calling. Here is the heading, Jamaica. Here is the heading. The Jamaica Constabulary Force says there is a need for a revision of the Cyber Crimes Act to include the provision for public mischief online. Public mischief online. You hear, Jamaica? The Constabulary Force, what a web we weave, says there is need for revision of the Cyber Crimes Act to include Jamaica for a revision of the Cyber Crimes Act for the provisions for public mischief online. What a web we weave. Rather than the constabulary force focus on their investigative purposes and intelligence gathering. Rather than the constabulary force focus on the intelligence gathering. You have time to want to amend the Cybercrime Act. What a circus. What a circus. What a circus. What a circus. But I'm not going to spend any much time on them today because it would be wicked of me to spend such time. So you're willing to suppress the freedom of speech and call it public mischief. So I'm going to ask you a question. When Sir P attack how much years now? When everybody attack? When Mr. Vegas attack? When Prophetess Divine attack years now? When L.A. Lewis attack years now? Who else out there attack years now? When all of the vloggers them attack years now, Dennis Brooks, you never see the relevance for change the Cybercrime Act until Andre Stefano Stevens come and break the truth. So you now want to suppress my freedom of speech. That means, you know, you have to go lock down all of YouTube, you know, Dennis Brooks. All of YouTube. You have to go lock down. Not me alone, my brother. You have to go lock down social media, and you don't have that power. You have to go lock down Ashanti, lock down Dr. Love, lock down everybody. And so you want big and bad Dennis Brooks that you really want to start a social media war with mainstream media. Hey! Dennis! Do you really want to have a war? Do you really want to have an intellectual war with me, Dennis? Dennis, is it that you're the pawn? Is it that you're the talk? Is it that you're the talk shop for the government of Jamaica? Is it that, Dennis, you believe you hold the magic wand that can silence me? Sir Brooks, freedom of the press, freedom of speech is my constitutional right. It's your constitutional right. Public mischief, am I making public mischief, Jamaica? Do you see what I'm doing as public mischief, Jamaica? Do you see what I am doing as public mischief, Jamaica? But I'm going to take off my turban because me I go fix somebody right now. Yes, God. I see an entertainer that has no relevance to modern day Jamaica trying to come and piggyback on my name. I see an entertainer who was ushered out by Gina Jennings on my name today, trying to gain relevance. I see an entertainer that looks like he's awfully sick. I don't use people illness and cuss them, you know. But when I saw the video today, I saw somebody who did not look right. I saw fragments and many spots in your face. You had to be having on a glasses. And I was wondering, the new kid on the block, how comes the new kid on the block affects you? And you call us internet detectives. But I'm going to say to you, Mr. Vegas, good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. The internet detectives have done their part, Mr. Vegas. Mr. Vegas, I don't see your relevance. What's your relevance? In international politics and diplomacy, you will be classified as persona non grata. Persona non grata. Do you know what that means in international diplomacy? You have no significance. You're of no relevance, Mr. Vegas. We have never heard of you in a very long time, Mr. Vegas. But you're trying to seek relevance from the internet detectives. But I'm not going to be having you gain relevance with me, Mr. Vegas. Persona non grata. Ask your children, do you have children? I believe you have children. Did they study international politics or international political economy? Did they study all of the international trade and international laws to understand what persona non grata means? Persona non grata, Mr. Vegas, is the epitome of you. No relevance, no substance, no truth, nothing justifiable. Nothing justifiable. Nothing of significance. When I looked at you today, I saw somebody who is ailing and sick. And I wondered to myself, is it a case that this man is ailing? Is it a case that this man is sick? Is it a case that something is wrong with this man and he's seeking audience to gain back relevance? Then I looked at something, Mr. Vegas. You have a 1 million subscribers. But your engagement on social media is little. So despite you having so many people subscribing to your platform, 1 million, your engagement is significantly low. And if you have over 1 million people on your platform, Mr. Vegas, don't you think you should have been using your platform as an advocacy tool, seeing that you have lost your significance in the dancehall fraternity? You have lost your significance. Listen, dancehall failure, the church failure, everything that you touch becomes desolate. You know what desolate means, Mr. Vegas? It has become of no use. No use. So, you think that you must come and be resurrected and find life by spring and taking on Andre Stephanus Stevens. But I'm going to say to you, Mr. Vegas, broke it up, 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 broke it up. And I'm asking, I have no problem if you want me to teach you, so you become an erudite student. You become a student of knowledge, fortitude, intelligence, and understanding. I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem, Mr. Vegas. If you come to my class, baby mother failure, church failure. What else failure? Baby mother failure, church failure. Dancehall failure, but you want... Mr. Vegas, I don't have any interest, Mr. Vegas. You're not my cup of tea, Mr. Vegas. Certainly not my interest. Certainly not somebody that you must... Because Jamaica, you have some people, you know. I don't know if you know, but you have some people who have some fetishes. And their fetish is to prey on people so that they can find and think that they're big and mighty and strong. But Mr. Vegas, this is the wrong... You want me to tell you, Mr. Vegas? This is the wrong professor. This is the wrong professor. Don't come and try to seek relevance with me. Relevance? And Mr. Vegas, I'm going to say the truth to you. If I come on my platform and I say to my supporters, cash app me or Zelle me, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm doing nothing illegal. There's nothing wrong with that, because many of you do illegal activities to sustain yourselves. Many of you do illegal activities to sustain yourself. I'm not a part of that school. I've never done anything illegal. Gina Jennings ushered you out the church. But I'm going to say, come to my school and take a front seat. Come to my school and take a front seat. Learn something. Learn a thing or two. You have a platform. You have a platform. I'm not coming to you asking you for anything. I'm not asking for Jamaicans and the diaspora for anything. Support for support. They have supported many others, and they come to my platform seeking truth and enlightenment. It's the year of the truth, Mr. Vegas. If you're in the church, remember 5784 is powerful in the church. So look at that, Mr. Vegas. And look, we're not here to argue. We're here to uplift and edify. And Mr. Vegas, had I not applied my advocacy, the truth be told, Donna-Lee would have been one other missing, just like the 8,000 odd Jamaicans. No justice served. No justice served.